Hey guys, white guy. I just been seeing something going around lately with one of my favorite all-time creators. Well, actually two of them, three, well, actually a whole bunch because it's the entire cast of Only Plays essentially is wrapped up in this. But Ding Dong VG in particular, I have a message for you. I still care about you, and I would really like to see you work on more games and continue to be as successful as you are because I do think you deserve it. But we have a shit ton to discuss right now.
Running away is easy. It's the leading, it's hard, hard. Running away is easy. Running away.
Okay, so let's start off with a bit of background history. Oni Plays was created way back when by Oni and G or Chris O'Neill. Uh, it was started as a Let's Play gaming channel for him and his friends, essentially, to just, kill time but also make money on the side because animation on YouTube was getting more and more corporatized as well as it just wasn't paying the bills anymore. So he decided to make Oni Plays. He was later on joined by Ding Dong and Julian Marcel, Dingus Dongus, if you will. And yeah, for a good time, it was really nice. They made a lot of Let's Plays together, and which are all really, really popular today still. Some of the most viewed videos on that channel are actually Ding Dong, Julian, and Chris all together. I think it was 2018 or so. Ding Dong and Julian left Oni Plays to go and start their own game company called Wan Wan Games, and that company is still going to this day. They just wanted to branch out and do their own thing, which is completely understandable. However, the following years that we cover here is where it starts to get off. Alright, we can start with Game Grumps drama. Alright, so they knew Game Grumps, which Game Grumps was another gameplay Let's Play channel ran by Aaron Hansen and Dan Evidan, I think it is. It was formerly ran with Aaron and JonTron, but JonTron left a long while back. In the time while they were all together, Oni Plays and Game Grumps worked in the same office space and had a lot of issues together. Let's start with Dream Daddy, which is a video game that was sponsored by, also partially made by the Game Grumps company. And Ding Dong and Julian being gay as well, they were given access to play some of the first copies of it. Now, while they were beta testing and everything, I'm sure, Ding Dong voiced his concerns and his, albeit very a mild reaction to the game, just minor disdain for how it portrays gay people, and it didn't exactly portray them in the most realistic of ways, so he found it offensive, which is understandable. But here's where things started to dip off. Their relationship soured between Game Grumps and Oni Plays and everybody because they felt, Julian and Ding Dong felt like they couldn't trust anybody. They were going to speak up originally and did speak out, and when they did, they were met with some backlash from a lot of people within their circle. So it made them probably begin to just distrust everybody. Around a year or so before, I think it was a year before, I may be doing this a little out of order, but Ding Dong attempted suicide at some point, and that's extremely terrible, and I'm sorry for you, Ding Dong. I understand that completely, because I'm sure you felt extremely trapped in the situation that you were in. But thank God he didn't do it, and that eventually led a year later, from 2017 into 2018, parting ways with Oni Plays and Game Grumps and going their own route. Now, flash forward to recently, well, I guess more, I'd say maybe a year or two ago, a video came out about some stuff, just Ding Dong kind of airing out some of the drama that he had with both Game Grumps and the Oni Plays, as well as another channel, Super Mega, with Matt and Ryan.
Fucking nuts.
And publicly, too, we had people going like, oh, come on, what do you mean you can't leave? As in, we couldn't leave. You acknowledged it in your Tumblr post. The idea of misleading people
No, that they
publicly.
literally would tell people that we weren't that we weren't going to be leaving, and we would be like, no, literally, I'm going over here.
I always
Stop telling people.
Yeah, I told the story back at the time even. Why do you think I said I had a 2-year lifespan? I was planning on quitting after 2 years. We didn't want to keep going. And what sucked about it was I remember even like our roommate we had at the time, he came up to me one day saying like, oh yeah, like he talked to me about it. I was like, wait, you got talked to about it?
Which is another gameplay channel, or a Let's Play channel, I should say. But after airing all that out, it seemed like the drama kind of died down, but in the background, it just didn't. And it seems now that we are at the point where DingDong is resentful towards everyone that he has formerly worked with. Maybe something else. There's got to be something more here, because everyone can't be the problem. Well, there's only one consistent factor here, and that is you. And if that is you, and that is the only factor, then there is something more, there's something greater there, for sure. Now, we cut to today. Recently, a video came out where DingDong was on live stream for a 24-hour stream, and kind of just aired out a lot of stuff, but he did it extremely vaguely on the situation with both Oni Plays, Game Grumps, his relationships with both of them. And it was really kind of sad to watch, because you think for the longest time that DingDong, Julian, and Oni are friends, right? Well, at least I did, because I've been watching them since Oni Plays fucking started. Like, I was watching Oni when it was just Oni. When I was young, okay? So it really is depressing to see how Julian and DingDong both agree that Oni Plays has ruined their life, which in some ways I can understand, because I'm sure it was a grueling process emotionally figuring out all of that shit with both the Dream Daddy situation and with the video recently. But I can't understand some of it, because now the problem is on you. And what I mean by that is, no one else started this shit. No one else dramatized this. No one else really got into some of the details that were discussed. No one outed DingDong's tuba furry fetish, which is what he was so adamant that Oni Plays had done. Which, I'm going to be honest, the clip is extremely, it is extremely tame. He just said, two things. He just said, I'm horny after looking at a trumpet. That's it. It wasn't even a tuba. I don't even think it was a tuba, at least. It was just, it's one of those things where it's like, okay, you are putting an accusation that is definitely not truthful here. Well, or maybe just dramatized. Well, not dramatized, but exaggerated, maybe. And you don't even mean to do that, you know? So that's why I feel like we need to give DingDong a little bit more slack on the emotional side of things, at least. But there are some things that I gotta say, I'm kind of disappointed, you know? Like, this stuff with just seeming like everyone is taking a shot at you. I'm gonna be honest, I don't think anybody really likes to take shots at either of you. I haven't seen anybody take shots at you besides 4chan. I mean, every time I frequent 4chan, I see people taking shots at you there, but that's with some good reason, though. Like, for example, one I literally saw today, Blippi. Blippi has been in production since 2018. It has been, 8 years now? 8 years, and we have not gotten barely anything out of Blippi, or any of the games that you've really produced. The only real game that you produced besides the block-dropping game was your DingDong Summer game, Summer Resort game, and that one was okay. I played that. That's cool and all, but I really want to see the projects that you guys already started. I really want you guys to get that done. And not only that, but I'm also very concerned about the amount of work that is being done in between streams, like while you're going on these rants, because that is very bad. While you're doing this rant on stream for a good 3 to 4 hours or so, you guys draw maybe a line on a sprite sheet, maybe a line or so. That's really extremely fucking bad. Like, no offense, I know animation and design is a long, grueling process. Trust me, I understand. I've worked on video games, animations, music, whatever, audio, video editing. I get it, I get that it takes a long time, but with even what you have, the resources, the backing behind you, the Patreon, you guys should be able, I think should be able to do a little bit more than just a line within a few hours. That is really bad. And that to me just, it kind of makes me worry about the project, because it is you too. And if the project rests on your mental health, much like my projects have in the past, WXC, I dropped that shit and I ran. Which, that's what makes me worry the most, is if your mental health spirals, I really don't want to see you guys spiral, and I don't want to see the projects go to waste. Because it seems like, I know you guys have put in a shit ton of effort and work into actually making something creative, and trying to be yourselves, and really just express your creativity. I love that, and I will always support that, but it makes me worry. I just don't want to see these projects go nowhere. There's so much potential. Like, untapped gold mines worth of potential. And it is really sad to see the situation. But let's get back to it. And another point I would like to address is probably the marketization or marketability of people on the show, which Julian made a comic a little while back about that, and I thought that was kind of funny, just because it was like, I understand not wanting to have your face everywhere, not to be an entity that is owned and marketed, but I think you're missing the point. You are the driving factor of your character as well as that entity. You are more than just some character, right? You're a fucking person. There's a difference between, I think, having a Beanie Baby and, having a Ding Dong plush or Julian plush or an Oni plush. There's a big difference there. I think one is just because I really like the person and I want to support them. That is why that's why I've bought Oni Plays merch in the past and Ding Dong fucking merch in the past. I got a Ding Dong pin. Like, I'm buying it because of you. I'm not buying it because I'm some corporate fucker who just wants to spend money on useless random shit. No, I'm doing it because I like who you people are. I like what you stand for, and I want that in my home. It's an inviting presence. I don't know. Yeah, maybe that's just me though. Maybe that's just how I view it, and I understand. Your feelings for sure on that. I can understand for sure. Now, let's talk about some other things. The fetish outing of the tuba fetish outing, that was kind of already publicly known. I'm not gonna lie here. There was a video made recently by Otto Heckel that kind of made, at the last 10 to 20 seconds, a really good connection marker of all of the times where it just seemed like there was tuba fetish art, and inflation art, and vor art. Which, there's a lot spanning way back. Alright, let's start with the 4chan Anon post of the frog and tuba guy. That one is old. I think that was from 2012. Flash forward, we have 2016. We see, I think it was 2016 or 2018, we see another we see an untitled fetish rhythm game, an untitled, we see a couple of fetish games, to be honest, made between the span of, I'd say, 2017 to 2022. There was a number of fetish games. So if you're saying that Oni Plays outed this as public information, this was already an inside joke within Kiwi Farms and 4chan, because no offense, you didn't exactly hide it. But you also, I feel like you would have gotten a lot less slack and a lot less shit from everyone, including your own fan base, including if you just owned it. If you just owned it and just accepted it and just never looked at that again, you'd be fine. Now, the getting outed as gay, someone outing you within that circle, you know, that is extremely horrible. That is unforgivable. And there's no defense on that. There's nothing that you can say. And as a gay person, I understand. I wouldn't want to be exposed like that either, But you but there's something I think you're missing here. I don't think it was I think your anger is misplaced with Oni on that then. Why are you angry with Oni about that? Why is that why are you angry with him? Because he wasn't the one who outed you. He may have outed the well, I guess even if you wanted to claim that he outed the fetish, it's really there's no claim there to be made. I mean, look, it's just a couple second clip. Anyone who looks at that would not automatically assume that unless they knew the information that they know now. And the thing is, you shot yourself in the foot and gave everyone ammunition when you decided to respond and give the most damning piece of evidence, which was by your own admitting that you had a tuba fetish, or that admitting that the fetish was rude. Had you not even addressed that, that could have possibly just changed the entire outcome of the situation. And now on to the Oni plays ruin my life. I really it breaks my fucking heart to hear that, I'm sure it breaks your hearts even more, but because you guys lived it. But holy shit, as a fan who, like, as a kid, I used to want to be you guys. Like, I pictured you three as, like, the best friend group, a friend group that I would want, And to hear Oni plays ruin my life being said, like, I understand it in some ways, because in some ways it did, It got you a whole lot of really bad and dumb situations. But I just don't think I can sit here and believe that. I can't believe that for a second, Because the very thing that made you is the main thing that is destroying you. Which, I mean, I can understand it to a point, but that's what gave you your start. That's what gave you your ground when you had none. I'm going to be honest. Like, without Oni Plays, I don't think you guys would have been in the position that you are right now. And however painful or bad it may have been, I can understand that. I can understand wanting to leave and wanting to go and create your own thing. But there's no bad will here. There's nothing to say. I mean, Chris has not really ever, Chris has never been one to publicly take shots at anybody besides, Aaron, which he has lambasted on Twitter a few times, but that's publicly just him stating how he feels. Chris is usually, if anything, honest with most of the people that he interacts with and tries to keep it at a decent level. So if there was any evidence of this, we would need to see it come out, which is really, it's just fucking heartbreaking. It's like, the people that you grew up loving are all they fucking hate each other, and you can't do anything about it. Like, you feel like, it's like a divorce, It's like you're watching your parents divorce again. You're like, fuck, great. Now I have to figure out who's in the right, or are both of them wrong, or are both of them right, or what is the situation? What the fuck is this? Alright. Now on to another important topic. The information that you got fed on stuff like the joke Zach made, I think that joke was completely fine, and that joke was more aimed at not the crowd of people who are mentally, mentally ill, I guess, or have mental illnesses or mental problems. It was aimed at the people who use it as an excuse to do stupid fucking things. It was used pretty much as an anti-tool. If anything, it wasn't aimed at people who have those disabilities or have those problems. It was aimed at the people who use them unfairly. It was aimed at the people who use them as an excuse to do what they want. It was aimed at the people who use a false, portray themselves as mentally ill, but aren't. They don't have any diagnoses, but they like to claim that they have 1,000 of them. I know plenty of people like that. I've known plenty of people like that, and there's a lot of people out there like that. So it was aimed more at the crowd of people who didn't understand mental health, and it wasn't in any way trying to be a jab at those people. Or at least that's what it seems, right? Or at least that's what you'd think, right? But I guess not. I don't know. That and the Worm Society joke, that one just, to me, it shows you're not understanding what they're trying to say. I think that was more of a joke. Number one, Worms, because they played through Worms Reloaded. Armageddon, Reloaded, fucking... What Worms game did they not play within the span of however many months that they were playing Worms? And, I mean, at the time, it was also kind of a little politically charged. Let's think about it. With the whole thing with Trump getting shot, well, I think that actually happened a little bit later. But still, with the whole, political climate in general, I also think it was a piece against the elite that controls it. Because it was the whole, the whole government and the way of which things work is controlled by a little worm society of elites. I mean, are we really that far off from reality? Fuck. I think it was more a jab at the people in power than to say that politically this is a dog whistle or anything. Let's also talk about a lot of the Nazi rhetoric, or let's say the supposed Nazi rhetoric or Nazi dog whistles. Chris O'Neill is not a Nazi. Let's just get that out the way real fast. Ding Dong and Julian are not Nazis either. That's pretty obvious, right? But all of them have had their fair share of moments where they have said slurs. All of them. All of them have said slurs, okay? But you understand what I mean when I say you guys are all on the same level of bad. You cannot be claiming that Chris is in any way more hateful than you. Because, let's be honest, all of you guys have said the exact same words, just in different ways, maybe. And maybe just in different meaning. Maybe you guys didn't mean it, or maybe you guys did mean it. I don't know. But all of you, the point is all of you are on the same level, and you cannot act as if you are holier than thou when you are on the same level. That's the thing here. You have all said the exact same things, and you all did it around the same time, and you may be different now, and that's okay. You may not say those words now, but let's be honest here when we say this. That still doesn't make you any better than Chris. That still keeps you on the same level. That hasn't changed yet. So all this talk about Chris being a Nazi or just anything really is, to me, it's kind of silly. I don't know. Especially since the amount of people that he's had on: Joshua Tomar, 100% Ashkenazi Jew, Gooseworks, a trans woman, I think. Is it a trans woman or a trans man? I may be getting that wrong, so I do apologize. But let's think about the other cast of characters: Ding Dong, Julian, Matt, Ryan. We've had Corey, just all purposes, just random degenerate. We've had a mix of so many different people on the Oni Plays couch that I feel like there really isn't any form of discussion of Oni Plays is leaning one way entirely, because that's not true. If you look at the Oni Plays fan base, I have never seen a greater collection of probably cultures within a community as far as YouTubers. I've never seen a greater collection of cultures, I think, than Oni Plays. I mean, there's just animators, artists, 3D, games, whatever. You name it, every side of the political compass is also there. I've seen so many different sides of the Oni Plays fandom. There is just a plethora of people there. that are a part of this. So I really don't think that you can say his fan base is dangerous or really goes out of their way to be hateful, unless it's with reason to certain folks, anyways. It's just to say that I think you both have that mindset of feeding into the hate and giving more ammunition and reaction. That's the thing. You give a reaction. You both instinctively give a reaction. And you both think that you can operate how you used to years ago, which was you didn't have as much of an internet presence, so you could say pretty much whatever you wanted, I guess, and not really have as big an audience watching you at all times. Post Oni plays, now you have to deal with that because you have people clipping what you're saying. But you also created this problem as well when not addressing the problem to begin with. Now, that may get confusing. What do I mean by that? Because didn't you just say that you would have won by not addressing it? Here's what I meant. You would have won by not addressing the tuba fetish. However, you should have addressed the Dream Daddy, Game Grumps, and Oni Plays situation a long time ago and leave it wrapped. You should have just left it wrapped and never touched that bow again. Let people go and discover that on their own because they will. I mean, Oni Plays made the tweet on his Twitter account, or the tweets, I guess, and it was that. That was that. There was no need for a comeback. There was no need for anything further. That was the end of the statement. That was the end of what was going on. And now we are at a point again where Chris has won probably the 50th fucking time by doing nothing. And it is, and you know, it's really fucking sad, I'm sure for Chris as well, because this is like the 30th time someone in his circle is just fucking terrible. Stamper, Rice Pirate, Ding Dong and Julian now. I mean, Ding Dong and Julian aren't terrible, and I still support them. I'll still love you guys forever. I don't care, you know. I'll always, as much as I am disappointed with especially you, Ding Dong, I will always care about both of you because I really like what you create, and I like you guys, and I know that you're good. I know that you're good deep down. You're just people. That's what we all are. We're all just trying to figure this shit out. But harping on about the Newgrounds stuff before while I'm at it, it's, well, actually more harping on the friends stuff that I was talking about before. Chris has lost a lot of friends over the years through all of this shit. Like, throughout the many, many, many situations and controversies, he has collectively just lost a lot of friends because people turn on each other. People hate, people grow, people change. And it's just the way the world is and how people are, you know. Some situations have ended better than others. And it's just, I'm sure it's extremely depressing to now sit with the fate that, in a way, I saw a comment the other day, and it did mirror this perfectly. Doug Walker, in a way, watching Spoonie and Linkara slowly drift away from him. It does feel like that in a way. It is also really just kind of poetic in a way. I don't know. It's like an art piece, a really tragic one, to watch old friends kind of just become distant and watch what happened now. Because no one is going to walk away from the situation with a win. Like, truthfully, even though Chris has won, he's still lost because he lost his friends. I'm sure he fucking cares about Ding Dong and Julian a lot. I'm sure he cares about the both of them. You know, I hope that Ding Dong and Julian and Chris can all separate the differences and just kill whatever is between them. I really do hope. Because I feel like it's unnecessary. They've all lost a lot of friends. They've all lost a lot. They've all given a lot. It's just, I wish the best for all of them, you know. And this is going to be my last point, which is probably the most important one, but the pedophile stuff. This is going to be possibly for a key to pay attention to in the future. The Oni Plays cast and the Newgrounds cast in general, from that, well, I guess the Newgrounders that have come onto the Oni Plays show, they have had connection with people like Shadman and, you know, Rice Pirate, Stamper, you know, these kind of unsavory people who have talked with or done very bad things, right? So I can understand in being angry and being, confused as to why a lot of the new grounders within the space and animators within that space are outed as pedophiles. But let me remind you something real fast. Art and animation is probably the biggest community online of pedophiles. Let's be real here. Who do you commission porn from? Ask yourself that question if you do commission them. And what are you commissioning? Think about that. Who else is going to make the art besides the artists and animators? No one else can do that. That is your job. You guys are explicitly in that market. So if you want to get at why so many of them are getting outed that way, it's because a shit ton of them are in the fucking market of it. It's going to be a part of the job, interacting with unsavory people. You're going to find pedophiles everywhere, trust. That's the thing, though. You do not know. You do not know with a lot of fucking people. And that's the thing. I feel like we have gotten too comfortable as a society, as people, saying that a lot of people are good. We need to start assuming again that the world is not as pleasant as it is, because it really isn't. It really is not. So if you're wondering why so many of them in that space are, it's because that is literally where the market is born for that stuff. At least the animated side of it. That is where stuff is done. Like, I don't understand. That is the most, to me at least, that's the most obvious conclusion I could draw from it. Where else are you going to find people who are going to willingly sit down and accept money to draw horrible things? No one else is going to do that. Except for people who take commissions like Shadman. So, if you want to get at that, we can. And if you want to get at, unsavory indigenous people, we can as well, with the amount that there are on Newgrounds. There are a shit ton of terrible people on Newgrounds who just make degenerate things. But I think you're missing the point of where all this is coming from logically, and you're missing the understanding of that. You are repulsed by it so much emotionally, and you are so emotionally charged by the situation, I feel like you cannot logically think on it, You're just unable to see, I guess see the answer to the obvious question that's staring you in the face, that why are these people like this? Why is it like this? Because Newgrounds is before this was early internet. This was back before when these people, like Jeffrey Epstein, were getting their fucking start up on 4chan. I think you're missing the big detail. This was, a lot of these guys go back to early internet. So they're already entrenched in this shit. They've been entrenched in it for a long time. That's why you see Newgrounds as such a culty thing. Because once you're entrenched in Newgrounds and you're an OG, it's old internet. It is the old guard of the internet, truthfully. That's why people there get so much respect, and usually people get a lot of flack trying to cancel people who are a part of that. So, now that we have wrapped all of this up, you understand, I think, why there are so many people there in that community that are unsavory now. It's because they came from an older era of the internet. It's a lot of fun. It's good. I use Newgrounds. I post artwork and shit on there sometimes, animations. But I do share that sentiment that it is kind of culty in a way. But that's the loyalty there, because Newgrounds is honestly one of the last bastions of probably freedom of speech on the internet. Nowhere are you going to see really heavily censored videos on there, or at least not right now anyways, I don't think. How many other places can you really upload the animations you can upload onto Newgrounds without them getting taken down? That's why. It is a place for edgier content, and it is a lot less restrictive on that freedom of speech, which is probably why you've found a lot of these people so much more unsavory. Now that we've wrapped all this up, I just want to say, finally, to Ding Dong and Julian, I really hope the both of you just. I really hope that everything is better for both of you. I don't want to see you guys go. I don't want to see you guys leave the fucking internet. Like, this is the thing. A lot of people, they're turning on you guys right now. I kind of refuse to, just because, God, I see myself as Ding Dong, Like, I see myself as Ding Dong, and I'm going to be honest, for a long time, I wanted to be Ding Dong. Like, even now, the kid part of me from when I was like 14 still says, man, I wish I could be like a streamer like him one day. Like, I really wish I could be like him, and I still wish I could. And I still wish I could be as great as the both of them, and be able to do the things that they've done. I just don't know. I just really wish. I really wish this never happened. None of this shit ever happened. None of this played out the way it did. Oh, it's depressing. I really I look up to you guys so much, and especially you, Ding Dong. So to see everyone just slam you on the internet, and even myself, I cracked a few jokes in YouTube comments the other day, but I realized after I made those jokes why I made them. Like, the part of me that made them wasn't because I found it funny. It was because I was hurting so bad, because my favorite, the creator that gave me the blueprint for what I wanted to be when I was younger is getting just destroyed online. And I'm just watching them burn up. There goes another one of my favorite people, Another one of my favorite creators gone to whatever situation it may be. But I feel like there's a difference here. You can come back from this. This can be salvaged. I think if you guys kill the air with Oni, and maybe, I don't know, maybe make a video with him. One video that's maybe 2 to 3 minutes long. You guys don't even have to be together. Maybe just on call. Just clearing the air publicly, I think that would save everything, and that would do you a lot of justice. And then just apologizing. I think that would fix this whole situation, and I think, a lot of good could come out of this in some type of way. But if there is more to the story that we are not knowing, we will know soon. Time reveals all. But I really hope that they can just kill this, because it has been years now of a kind of an ongoing back burner situation of you guys are fed up with how everything is on this end, that it is now affecting your relationship with the people that you work with now. I really hope that you guys, I don't know, especially you, Ding Dong, I see myself as you so much. Just the self-hatred, the self, not believing in the self, thinking that the world is just tired of you and that others won't let you exist, when in reality it is really your own heart and brain trying to hold you back, because you've been hurt so much. You've felt so hurt that you internalize it now. You use it as an excuse to, well, not an excuse, you use it as a shield in a way. And I do too. I understand that completely, So if I'm saying anything to you, it's that please don't ever give in. Don't ever give in to this. I know, as much as angry as I've been and as emotionally charged as I've been throughout this entire video, that it hasn't been exactly clear what I think of you guys, but I really love you guys. It honestly it breaks my fucking heart. I just really wanted you guys to be good, I just wanted you guys to be alright. Because I think you guys deserve that. You're good people at the end of the day, and no matter what, I'll always support you guys, but I just wish the people that I looked up to and the people that I really liked, who I thought got along, could get along and still be friends. And I hope one day that you guys can all, patch this shit up and maybe move forward. Maybe you guys don't have to be friends, but at least move forward in a positive light. That's all I'd ask. But I know a lot of people have been looking at the situation and saying that Ding Dong and Julian are kind of crying about this or making it a lot more dramatic than it is. But here's the thing: when you come from nothing, when you come from situations that feel extremely hopeless, you grab what you have and you're trying to hold it tight and you're trying to make it work. And when it stops working, it is just the most abysmal feeling and most abysmal place that you can ever be in. So I understand their thinking and how they're feeling. So I just hope that you guys can pick this up and understand that you guys will go far. And I still think that there's a lot of success to be had, but there's some changes that need to be had too. But in time, I really hope, Ding Dong, this is just more just a message to you. Know this. As a fan, as maybe your, well, honestly, I hope I'm your biggest fan, because that would make me really happy. But how do I put this? I will never give in on seeing you as my hero in a way. You will always still have that same quality. You will always still be as great. But you need to know that we, as the community of fans, we do want to see you. All we do is want to see you, honestly. When you reel back from us, that it just makes us worry about you, honestly. Like, if you want to know a real fan's opinion, we just want Ding Dong. We don't care about anything else. We don't care about having the old Oni Plays like style back. We don't need that. We've accepted that now, We just want you to be successful and be happy. Like, are you truly happy? Like, that's what we want. We want you to ask that question and be able to say, yes, I am. And I hope that you are happy, in some way, or that you can find that happiness. All right, well, this is That White Guy. Ding Dong and Julian, if you see this, do know I really don't mean any of this in a bad way. I make this solely as emotional support, I guess, or as support in a way to show that there are still people out there that are fans of you, and I will always be fans of the both of you, especially you, Ding Dong. But I really do just hope that everything gets better for you guys, because it seems like nothing is going right, and it hasn't been for a while now. So I'd really just like to see some success come your way, some real good success. All right, That White Guy. See y'all around. And Ding Dong, stay safe, buddy. Please.